multiply by negative I?
So what's funny is when you're dealing with I by itself, it actually doesn't matter. Because it would have become -1, it would just then change the signs in the numerator. If you want it to be +1 in the bottom, then yes, multiply it by the negative. But with just I by itself, it doesn't matter. When it's a conjugate with a number at the front, you have to do the opposite. Yep. Any other questions from 89 to 97? All right, how about the 2-5? So we said to focus on 105, 111, and 113. Questions on those? And remember I said to add Descartes' rule because it's going to ask for that. It actually, in order, asks for that first. So it asks for Descartes' rule, then it asks for the possibles, and then it asks for the actuals, and then it asks for them in linear form. Oh, I'm so excited for you to take your test. You're so ready. Yay. Okay. This is. Say that again. CalcChat?
Yeah.
So when you go. All right, so apply the right side. I'm going to plug in -2. So 2 over -2 plus 1 squared. 2 over -1 squared. 2 over 1, which is 2. So here it goes. And my graph looks like that. Now this is not symmetric to the y-axis. It is symmetric to the asymptote, but it's not symmetric to the y-axis, which makes sense. If I plug in a -x here, if the x was by itself squared, it would go away, but it doesn't go away if it's got a number there. So it's not symmetric to the y-axis. There is symmetry, but not to the y-axis. So usually if the x is squared in the bottom and there's nothing in the top, like not a variable in the top, that's when you get that both up situation, okay? But I would always test my point. Use the intercept on the right to help you, but then test the point on the left. No one is going to escape with no plugged in points tomorrow, okay? You might get lucky on one of them if there's 2 slants and there's zeros that help you. I mean, if there's a slant and there's a vertical, but you will be plugging in points tomorrow. Yeah.
How many points will we have?
Depends on the graph. Depends on if you know symmetry. Depends on, so it's all those things, right? You need one from each section on your graph. So if I have one vertical asymptote, I need something on my right, something on my left. If I have 2 vertical asymptotes, I need something on the right, something on the left, something in the middle, unless an intercept takes that, right? Because if you already have an intercept, that's one of the points.
So for grading purposes, smart, we're going to show you 1 point on each.
In each section. Yes, God bless you. Yeah. You're welcome. Other questions?
So if it's just a line, like the x-intercept would be enough as points?
So if it's a slant and a vertical asymptote, the intercepts can be enough. Yeah.
Are we doing our work on paper?
You guys can do it on paper. Yeah. So on that note, you can choose if you want to use Notability, if you want to use piece of paper. This is a PDF one. So I would say if you're going to, from home, if you're going to open that PDF in Notability and work on it, it's probably the easiest way to keep it neat. If you are not doing that and you are doing it on a piece of paper, for the love of God, model it after what I give you. Otherwise, it's going to be like a scavenger hunt for me to try to grade it, and I'll lose my mind. You don't want me to lose my mind while I'm trying to grade your test. So on that note, actually, I'm going to jump in. Oh, let me pause. I can open it so you can see it on the video. Of course you did. Normally I would do the CalcChat link right on the bottom of this page, but for that assignment, you're going to the CalcChat link for the old book because that's where that review's from. So when you click on the assignment and you click on this CalcChat link, you can just go to like calcchat.com and search for your book, right? But this link takes you directly, don't make a liar of me, there it goes. It takes you directly to the book from last year. The link on the home page, like you'd see your current book up here, which looks a little bit different, It's got green on it. So that would be the link for this year. So this chapter would be chapter 2. The section when we do review is R. And then if I wanted to see the answer for, I don't know, what we just do, like 111 or something like that, 113. You go there and you click go.
Yeah, I picked like section 4.
Yeah, so that would take you to the individual section. So like when you're doing, if you have extra homework practice that you want to look at, and we go section by section, that's how you'll do it. So like if we get into 3.1, which we're going to get into, like chapter 3 is exponentials and logs and that kind of stuff. Like if you're in there and you know you want extra practice, you can use your book for the extra practice, and then you can use the odd answers to check your work. So that you would go to the individual section. But the chapter reviews are. There's actually sometimes a chapter test section, which is just like a summary of more questions. If you go there, that would be the T. The T is like how every book has like a chapter review and then has a chapter test that's a little bit more condensed at the end of the chapter. That's what T is. You're welcome. This is from the practice quiz that you did last week. Okay, if you want to get this open, it should have started with the 8 plus 3i. So pretty much everything that's on here is on your test, just not necessarily tomorrow's part, but everything that's on here is on your test. This should have been 55 plus 48i. This should have been 4 plus 19i over 29. If you split it, that's also fine. This should have been 5 plus and minus 4i. Again, if you split it, it's fine. This one, the possibles would be plus and minus 1, 2, 3, 6, 1/2, and 3/2. The zeros that worked were 2, 1/2, and 3. Linear factors, x minus 2. 2x minus 1 has to be linear, so you can't get the fraction in there. And then x minus 3. So we want to expand and FOIL this. 8 plus 3i times 8 plus 3i. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 3i, 24i. 8 times 3i again, 24i. 3i times 3i is 9i squared. 64 plus 48i. This I squared becomes negative 1, so that becomes minus 9. And you get 55 plus 48i. You're welcome. That kind of question is going to be short answer. The order is going to be important, right? So no spaces again when we get to short answer questions. It's for Tuesday. But no spaces again, and the order is going to be important here because it's supposed to be in standard form. That I has to come last.
Number 4.
4, sure. All right, so I would actually even add on here the Descartes rule because that's going to be part of this type of question on your on your test. And that would be on tomorrow's part. So this is 1, 2, 3. So 3 or 1 positive real roots. Change the sign to negative x to the third. God bless you. Minus 11 negative x squared plus 17 negative x minus 6. Negative 2x to the third minus 11x squared minus 17x minus 6. No sign changes. 0 negative real roots. Which definitely helps me because I'm not going to try any of my negative possibles, right?
No, not that. What number are the possibles? Because like the 0 is colored.
What number? Oh, like what numbers are there?
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to do that next. But it's 1, 2, 3, 6, 1/2, 3/2. So I'm going to do from my original factors of the last over the first. So the last is 6. 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. The first is 1 and 2. So plus and minus 1, 2, 3, 6 have to go over 1. And then 1, 2, 3, and 6 have to go over 2. So all the first ones, obviously, if it's over 1, it stays the same. Plus and minus 1, 2, 3, and 6. When I go to the next ones, I have to do 1 over 2, that's a half. 2 over 2 is 1, and I already have it. I don't need it twice. 3 over 2, and then 6 over 2 is 3. I already have it. I don't need it again. So those are my possibles. You can put the plus and minus on the front, just don't forget it. Yeah.
So when we're writing it, we can write it right there.
Sure, because this one would be open-ended. So if this was in the typing out question, you'd have to do -1, positive. But this one's on your PDF for tomorrow, so you can leave it just like that. Just don't forget the plus and minus. People forget the plus and minus, okay? So now I'm not going to try any of my negative roots. I'm going to try my positive roots because I know that there's no negative real roots. So I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to put 1 on the outside. 2, negative 11, 17, negative 6. Bring down the 2. Negative 9, negative 9, 8, 8. Doesn't work. Do not erase your work tomorrow. So I know you get in Notability and you just white out the outsides and start it over again. I need to see you test the possibles. So do not erase your work, okay? Yes, I know it takes an extra 30 seconds to rewrite it, but you're going to have to rewrite it. So I'm going to rewrite 2, 11, 17, negative 6, negative 11. Put it in the box. Now I'm going to go to my next positive possible root, which is 2. 2, 4, negative 7, negative 14, 3, 6. And there's my first one that works. So I know 2 is going to go in my answers because it's the first one that works. Then I'm going to take what's left. So on the quiz, this was factorable on the practice quiz, right? It will not be tomorrow, which means you'll have to use a quadratic. But for this one, it was factorable, right? I'm going to pretend like it wasn't, and I'm going to use the quadratic because that's what you're going to have to do anyways, okay? So I'm going to factor it. I'm not factor it. This A is 1. Oh my goodness. A is 2. B is negative 7. C is 3. Opposite of B, plus and minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. 7 plus and minus 14. That's 8 times 3, negative 24. 7 squared is not. 14. Thank you. 49. Over 4. Then 7 plus and minus the square root of 25 over 4. 7 plus and minus 5 over 4. Splits twice. 7 plus 5 over 4. 7 minus 5 over 4. 12 over 4, which is 3. 2 over 4. No, not this one. And there's your other roots. Okay, and again, tomorrow they'll be imaginary numbers. Like when you get to breaking down your quadratic. Go ahead. Is it on this one? Like, yeah, go ahead.
Is it, I did it factor.
Yeah, no, this was factorable.
Okay.
Tomorrow's won't be.
Okay.
That's why I did it that way. You could do it either way, no matter what. But the one on tomorrow's is going to be a complex number, so it won't be factorable. Yeah.
So there's going to be like a graphing one and then like this type.
There's 2 graphing. You mean the...
Also from this lesson. Right?
No.
They're not graphing, but I'm saying there's going to be a question exactly like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The rationalizing your denominator, this, with a complex root, meaning there's going to be i's in your answers. Because otherwise you could just get it straight from a graph. Yeah. And then the graphing, the rational functions. Yeah. So again, and then remember that it does the linear factors, right? So it would have been x minus 2, x minus 1/2, and x minus 3, but you can't leave that 1/2. The 2 goes to the front, so 2x minus 1, and then x minus 3. And the order there, not important because it's open-ended.
We can't leave the fraction because
It's not a linear factor then. There's no fractions in linear factors. Any other questions on the practice quiz? Okay, so I'm going to let you work on the review if you didn't finish it last night. And then I'm actually going to open up like an extra review for you to try if you need it. Okay? Don't do so much your brain fried, but don't do not enough and not be prepared. You gotta figure you out, okay? Because everybody's a little bit different. 5 f of x should have equaled x squared minus 14x, squared plus 74x minus 136. And then all the zeros, so if I have 2 plus 3i, I already have 2 minus 3i. I would have put those behind the x minus, FOIL them out, and then remember we have to divide the original by that. And you should have gotten 3/2 as the last one. So 2 plus 3i, 2 minus 3i, and 3/2 were the zeros of that function. All right, anybody need me to work through one of those? Which one?
Number 6.
Sure. Okay, so once you see this, remember all complex numbers come in pairs, right? So I automatically join on the 2 minus 3i. And then I have to do x minus 2 plus 3i and x minus 2 minus 3i. Distribute the negative, so I get x minus 2 minus 3i, x minus 2 plus 3i. Then I'm going to multiply these out. So x times x squared, x times negative 2, negative 2x, x times 3i, positive 3ix. Then go to the second one, negative 2 times x, negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. Negative 2 times 3i, negative 6i. Then go to the last one, negative 3ix, positive 6i, negative 9i squared. Take your time with this part of the question. If you get this wrong, you go to divide, your remainder is not going to be 0, and you just lost all that time. Hopefully you catch it because your remainder is not going to be 0, but you lost all this time. So go slow, be careful, okay? Now combine my like terms. So I've got an x squared, negative 2x, and a negative 2x is negative 4x. This I squared becomes negative 1, so this becomes a positive 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. If I've done it correctly, all the terms that have an I should cancel out. So positive 3ix and negative 3ix, negative 6i and positive 6i should cancel. I tend to do that step first to make sure my i's are gone because that's another indication you did something right or wrong, okay? Now, this is what happens when I multiply these out. There's still one more root there. So I'm going to take this expression and divide it into my initial one. 2x to the third minus 11x squared plus 38x minus 39. So I'd have to multiply x squared by 2x. I'm going to multiply it times all three. 2x to the third minus 8x squared plus 26x. Change my signs. Cancels. Negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 39. This would have to get multiplied by a negative 3. Distribute to all three. Negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 39. Change your signs. Cancels, 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 which it's supposed to. If it didn't cancel there, remember that's, you know you have a mistake. So then this is my last factor, and written as a 0, it would be 3 over 2. So I have the first one I was given, the second one I added on because it's a complex conjugate, and then the third one I got from dividing. There is a question just like this, but it's on Tuesday's part. Jacob, you okay back there? I can't see you. Yeah. Questions? Any other questions on this, the practice quiz? Again, everything that's on the practice quiz is on your test. It's just we added to it. Michelle?
Here's the answer for number
3, sure. So for this one, I'm giving you two roots, a 4 and a 5 plus 3i. Remember, when you have complex, you also have its conjugate. So I automatically add on 5 minus 3i. Then I expand this and write it as linear factors. So x minus 4, x minus 5 plus 3i, and if you want, put it in parentheses at the beginning because we're going to distribute. X minus 5 minus 3i. So x minus 4, x minus 5 minus 3i, x minus 5 plus 3i. Eventually, I'm going to have to multiply these all out, but I'm going to start with the i's because if I do it correctly, the i's should cancel. So I do x minus 4, x times x, x squared, x times negative 5, negative 5x, x times 3i, 3ix. Negative 5 to x. Negative 5 to negative 5. Negative 5 to 3i. I hear ya. Negative 3i to x. Negative 3i to 5. Negative 3i to 3i. Negative 9i squared. So if you've done it correctly, your i's should cancel out. 3ix, negative 3ix, negative 15i, positive 15i, minus 9i squared. This becomes a negative 1, which becomes plus 9. So if for some reason that gets messed up or you get careless, you're going to have to redo it, and that's what's going to kill your time. So like in Link Crew, we say go slow to go fast. Go slow so you don't have to redo it. Be careful the first time. Now combine my like terms. X minus 4, x squared, minus 10x, 25 plus 9 plus 34. Now I have to distribute the x. Distribute the negative 4. And then combine my like terms. There's 2x squared, 2x's, and there's your answer. So again, be really, really careful when you're multiplying that stuff out. I would say mistakes made on this in the past is forgetting the second complex root. And then you get a weird answer with an I in it. That should never happen. So hopefully you catch that. Remember, any complex root also has a conjugate as a root. And then silly stuff with signs tends to happen. All right, so 6 takes it one step further. You get a 1 root. I add on the complex conjugate. I multiply those factors out. And then I divided that into my entire polynomial at the beginning to get my remaining 0, which is 3 over 2. So my roots are the original one they gave me, 2 plus 3i, the one that I found, 2 minus 3i, and then the one that I found from the division, 3 over 2. That's another one that, like, if you multiply it all out and the i's don't cancel, hopefully you catch it from there, but that could be something you have to redo. The division, if it doesn't give you a remainder of 0, you did something wrong, then you'd have to redo that. So you just really want to be careful and go through slowly that first time. Watch your signs. As smart as you all are, people make silly mistakes with positive and negatives. All right, questions on that? Again, remember that will get turned back in as a PDF, okay, for tomorrow. Yep.
So if we bring it on paper, do we also have to scenario
Nope.
on Canvas?
Nope, you can just give it to me. So Tuesday has some multiple choice questions and short answer. I'll let you do both, like do your work on a piece of paper and answer on Canvas, because I don't want you to lose the opportunity for multiple choice and that kind of stuff. But the work question, you could just leave me the work. Yep. So tomorrow you'll literally just hand me back your paper. And I'll grade papers for the first time since March. It'll be so weird. Questions? Yeah.
So then we also don't have to do it at 25, right? We can do it at 30.
Yeah. That's a perk to being in the building, folks. You get paper. Any other questions? You also get osmosis from me. I send you all of my smarts while you're taking your test. I'm just kidding. All right, good. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time. You've got about 20 minutes to either finish the PDF that you didn't do last night, or there is one more assignment you can work